Okay, a different kind of heat here. CHP in pursuit of two motorcyclists on the 405 freeway. And Desmond Shaw is live overhead in SkyCal. Two.
Yeah, well, Pat, we're down to one out of two motorcycles now. It is our nightly pursuit of the motorcycles in the Baldwin Park area. It was actually a pack of motorcycles that Baldwin Park CHP was chasing earlier, and apparently they all kind of split off, two stuck together. One of them ended up surrendering, and they've been taken into custody in the city of San Gabriel. But now we got this one. It was flying towards downtown L.A., westbound on the 10. They just kind of did a little detour through the Alhambra area. So westbound on the 10 San Bernardino freeway towards downtown Los Angeles. And like I said, it's literally every single night it seems like that we're talking about at some point a motorcycle pursuit that is on the 10 in Baldwin Park. I don't know what goes on out there, but it really is like a nightly occurrence. But this one they seem pretty determined to get. And again, one of two in custody. It's this one left at about 80 miles an hour now. As I said, we're flying towards downtown LA. Pat, Mike?
Well, you know what? They seem to have slowed down a bit, right, guys? Because at first I thought I heard you say speeds of 120.
Yeah, that's right, Pat. When we were listening to this on the westbound side of the 10 earlier before, yeah, it was about 120 miles an hour. So the fact that we're down to 60 is certainly much slower than we were. And we actually have two helicopters over this as well. The light you're seeing is from the Sheriff's Department. That's one of their helicopters. And then the Pasadena helicopter, Pasadena PD, is also kind of assisting. They're part of what's called FAST, which is the Foothill Air Support Team. So they help a lot of cities in the San Gabriel Valley just in general. So they were in the area too. They're here as well. I can tell you, Pat, for a period of time, we were listening to the radio as you see the sheriff's helicopter coming into the shot. For a period of time, he actually stopped underneath the freeway, underneath the 10 freeway, and then decided to keep going, went northbound, and that's when he started his San Gabriel Valley tour, just kind of getting into some of those other areas. So they obviously have eyes on him. CHP is aware of this. The Sheriff's Department is calling it out to them with their night sun on as well, but freeway speeds at this point.
Yeah, and they do have one of his buddies in custody already. So we'll see how this is going to go. And at this point, really not much they can do in terms of trying to stop this on their own, right? Certainly can't do a spike strip right now, can't do a pit maneuver of any kind. Right. So hopefully this person will just decide to pull over on his own and give himself up. You know what gets a little tricky, of course, when they get to the downtown area, if they get that far, right?
Right, and that's, you know, or a storm drain like we had the other night. There's these around there too, and that's we're not far from that area at all. But yeah, we are headed towards downtown, which of course makes it difficult for the helicopters, especially in a situation we're at right now. Because this guy was going 120, the ground units actually lost visual of him, and then they've decided to let the airship track it. So that is always the situation, is when we get into downtown and we don't have ground units behind him, that's when we turn into the game of the airship loses them in the buildings, and then that's kind of it. So we'll see if they're going to try to get some of those ground units back in place to be able to deal with this. As speeds are increasing a little bit, we're up to 80 miles an hour now, but still, again, not the 120 we saw earlier.
And certainly, Desmond, in terms of traffic, I mean, it doesn't look that busy from where I'm sitting.
No, I mean, unfortunately, you know, the world's going to be your oyster at this time on a Friday night if you're on a motorcycle, even if you get some Caltrans work out there. It's just too easy to slip by, and we see these motorcyclists so often with so much confidence just take all of these chances when really, you know, one wrong move and it is game over. But, you know, this was also just a failure to yield. There wasn't anything like a stolen bike or anything that we heard. And again, it's just so common in Baldwin Park. I kind of feel like some of these motorcyclists, because it happens almost nightly, if it's like a point of pride or if there's some kind of social media group that like does this and they enjoy taunting the police or what, because it's always just failure to yield or speed. We hear about motorcycles just pound on the gas and just go flying, like Mike said, 120, 130 or more miles an hour. And a lot of times, you know, unfortunately, they do end up getting away. And, you know, we are on a course for downtown Los Angeles, so it's definitely worth wondering if that's what the strategy is for this suspect. But, you know, as for what are the police going to do, I mean, if they're going to be serious about this, the best that they can, okay, that looks pretty serious to me. Now CHP is right behind the authorities. So, but, you know, at best, you know, they could just hope that the bike runs out of gas. I mean, especially when they're up there going over 100 miles an hour, you know, they can't do that for very long. These obviously have very small gas tanks. And we have seen a few of these. I can remember one specifically on the 5 where the guy was going like 130. CHP didn't care. They were right behind him, and they took him until he ran out of gas, and then that was it. You know, surrendered peacefully, and he didn't injure himself or didn't injure himself or anybody else, and just ran out of gas. So that's probably the best that they can do if they want to keep up with this one. But you know, as CHP catches up, he kind of sped away, and now we are up closer to 80, 90, 100 miles an hour, splitting lanes. A lot of advantages from a size and kind of tactical perspective for the motorcycle on this one. So it's always a really tricky one when we're dealing with motorcycles, and indeed we are continuing, it looks like westbound 10, to where it will dump you off onto the northbound 101.
You know what, Desmond, when you talked about, you know, any wrong move, and I was going to ask you about Caltrans, if there was any work being done on the freeway, because it could take a wrong move and they can hit another vehicle, but at the same time, they can also just run over a pebble, and that could cause, you know, something really terrible to happen. It doesn't take a lot for those bikes to hit something as small as that, a little small rock, and they just get, you know, thrown off a bike. That could cause some very serious problems. So it's very interesting to me how these guys manage to really go as far as they do without any serious injury like that. We don't like to see that happen, but I mean, that is a possibility.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't have to tell anyone who drives around LA just how many hazards there are on the roadways from, you know, tire tread or foreign objects or ladders or, you know, massive potholes. And yeah, as for Caltrans, actually, you know, Pat, we were preparing to tell you about a big roadwork project that's going to be happening in the West LA area over the weekend that's going to affect the 405. So I know that we have that roadwork, and Caltrans does start to set up right around this time, or at least between like 10 and midnight, even on Friday night, as we get now kind of into the downtown area. So we're around, you know, the pretty much perpetually clogged 101, 110 interchange right now near the 4 level. So, you know, continuing into downtown, and with this kind of traffic, I mean, there's not even really a shoulder for CHP to try to cut by to try to keep up with this person. So again, you just see the advantages that a motorcycle can have. And I do wonder if, you know, that unit caught up, because a lot of times we hear these, you know, the helicopters up here, obviously they know a lot of the strategies now. We'll hear them on the radio say, hey, you know, we're headed into downtown. This is going to be tough for us. If you guys want to keep up, like, get a ground unit on this. Well, so I wonder if that was what happened there as we are exiting the freeway here. So I think we're getting off at Grand. Yep, right by the Walt Disney Concert Hall and Grand Park, and not too far from City Hall and all that. And Des, no one behind him right now. That unit got stuck in that traffic.
No, so Des, really quickly, the sergeant told that unit to back off, and they've 1022'd, which means cancel. We don't even see the light from the sheriff's helicopter anymore. I see them still overhead. But here's what happened. So we left, the unit that was behind him was an East LA from the East LA CHP office. Now that we're in downtown, we're from the CHP Central LA office. The central sergeant told dispatchers that their officers would not be getting involved. So because the CHP office in downtown didn't want it, the CHP office in East LA said,
backed off.
Right, well, if you're not going to do it, I don't want to do it. We're in your area now, so now nobody's doing it. And this is the second time. So earlier, the one we had, I don't remember what time it was, I think in the 4 o'clock hour, where they were on the 405 and they got into South LA area, that sergeant also said he didn't want it. So we're seeing this now where even amid the CHP offices, they're saying that they don't want it. Now we go under this really long underpass, right, Des?
Yeah,
come out.
into the tunnel here under the tunnel underneath 2nd Street. It's kind of wide now, but yeah, this is, you know, a really big tunnel, and this is how it happens now. And
they know where to go.
You know, I mean, again, it was just a failure to yield. This was not like a violent wanted criminal or something, but I just feel like these kind of incidents add up over time, and we're just seeing suspects that are more and more audacious in the techniques that they are willing to take to get away. And, you know, it jeopardized their lives and serious injury for other people, and the authorities don't want to risk the safety of any innocent people, but then they end up getting away. And, you know, if there is some kind of social media group, like I kind of suspect there is with these Baldwin Park motorcycles, you know, now they're all cheering on their buddy who got one over on the cops, you know, yet again. We hear it on the scanners almost nightly in Baldwin Park. And, you know, you just wonder what the authorities can do to try to kind of rebalance this and prevent this from happening. But no matter what, it is really tough when you have any kind of vehicle going into downtown, and then you got a motorcycle.
Even worse.
And you got no units behind. It's pretty much inevitable that they're going to be, that they're out there and in the wind, as they say.
Well, at least they got one, Des.
Yeah, that's true. They did get one, and there was a whole pack we heard earlier. So, you know, when they say a pack, was there like a dozen or so? I mean, we've all been on the freeway and we've seen like a group of motorcyclists go by, and if they were just, maybe they just tried to single a couple of them out, but there was also a lot of other people. I mean, we don't know that they were doing anything illegal. If they were just riding together, that's whatever. But if they were all speeding or if they all got away, but of the two that they were chasing, they did get 50%. So that is definitely better than nothing.
Okay, which helicopter is this that we're looking at here that seems to be, are they still looking for this person or not?
Yeah, they are. That's the LA County Sheriff's Deputy helicopter, and we had heard that they were in the 3rd Street tunnel. I thought that was the 2nd Street tunnel, but they probably, you know, popped out. And, you know, you're in a motorcycle, you can go in that tunnel, and then you can just sit for a bit and even do a U-turn and come back out and go into another tunnel. There's all kinds of tunnels, so many parking structures, so many tall buildings. It is a very problematic way. You just, you know, I don't know, kind of wish that they could get x-ray vision or something for downtown Los Angeles to make this a little bit more manageable for the police for the pursuits. But, you know, until they get that kind of technology, it's, you know, I'm just not sure how they're going to be able to prevent this from happening.
Yeah, a lot of difficulties at that point. The good thing we can say, besides them catching one of the other riders breaking the law, going too fast, was the fact that no one was injured. We don't know about any accidents or anything like that.
Parking structure. Yeah, nobody injured. We may have just heard that they may have actually had eyes on them incredibly around Beaudry and 3rd, but then I think they said they went into a parking structure. So, you know, there you go. One, just another one of the many hazards of pursuits in downtown Los Angeles.
All right, well, good job with you keeping up with the Des, you know, as far as we could, that's for sure.